world doesn't have it. But we always say, this is the only show of its kind in the United States. We've traveled all over different states, and that's the first thing we ask. If there's another Indian Marionette show, we haven't run into one yet. There's a white man marionette show, all kinds of them. But this is the only one of its kind, Indian Marionette show that we know of. Every place that we want, we've always asked. The one thing we can be proud of is my wife and I are both Blackfeet. And we've been to a lot of cities away from here, out of the state of Montana. People don't realize how far we've been with this show. We've got calls, Kansas, we've been down in there, Nebraska. We've been all over with this show. So we can be really proud if we can say we're Blackfeet and we come from the reservation, we get a show to travel. And we've also went into the story how we got started. This thing all started when we was working at the boarding school quite a few years ago. It started out as a hobby. My wife had the Girl Scouts and I had the Boy Scouts. She was a scout leader and I was. So when she went to school at Haskell, they had an Indian Marionette Club down there. So she wrote back and asked them if they still have these marionettes. So I guess they have them stored in a warehouse or something. Anyhow, they sent, here come a big box with hands and heads and everything are all apart. So it took her about a year to put these things back together again and redress them like the Blackfeet dress. So after she got a couple of them, while she tried it out with the Girl Scouts. And the thing was going on, like I say, it was just a hobby. Whenever we get time, we monkey around with them. But after we got them all together, well, we left the boarding school. And I got sick, I couldn't work anymore. So this was one of the ways we made our living. But to start out with, we traveled around different hospitals, schools. It was about Christmas time. We put on a show, just donated to schools, couldn't raise money for their schools. So that was one of the ways we done. We traveled all over. Then after that, we started charging for our shows. We started getting calls here and there. So that's one way we're making our living today. We charge for our shows. Whenever we're called out, if we're away from here, we usually charge and they pay our mileage per dime. So we put on 2 shows up here last year at the school. We put on 50 shows. Now this is the first time that Browning ever got a chance to see these marionettes. A lot of people say, when are you going to put on a show? I haven't seen them. Well, we put on shows and nobody comes. But they got a chance to see them last year and they asked us to come back this year. So that's what we're doing now. We're putting on shows up here at school. And like I say, we told each class, this will probably be the last time you'll see it. But next time, I have to pay at the door. But everything was paid for. So they got to see them once more. But what we're trying to do is we're going to have a bigger show. We're getting into it. We're going to enlarge our stage. We're going to have just more in the program we have now. But with the way we've been going, I think this is something that's really great. We never got much advertising here in Browning without it, but we was in Butte. We was up there for a whole week. And we got 2 up there, well, then they asked us back the following weekend to put on a show on TV. So they run that tape all last summer up there. We can't hear from you here on TV. But they run that tape up there in Butte. So the people in Butte, they know what this marionette show is. But I think that was quite an advertisement for us. The biggest problem is now these other schools, like the Crow, they want us down there, but they don't have the money. And that's all they're waiting for. When they get their money, then they can go on the Crow. They're probably down for a month. They're trying to get us hooked up to the colleges here in the state of Montana. We travel to the colleges. So but like we always say again, many boys, the young men here at preschool, it's a nice trade, a hobby. You can all fall back on it. Like me, we want to hire a kids, man, but this is one way we make our living. We have to fall back on our hobby. It's a wonderful thing to give these young people realize that they have talent. You rock with the talent. We're really glad to be up here to show the show. It's pretty cool. I don't know how many of the students, the older ones, most of the younger ones have seen it already. But as we go along the show, Mrs. Crawford was explaining after how he made the Blackfeet Jesse marionette, different things about it. So we usually start off with the first number of the fancy list. How many times is fancy? Okay, that's our first one. As we go along, I said we put in one show down at Great Falls. We had 500 children, about all the size. And see how the teachers held them kids under control. But the biggest problem is usually on the stage. As when we're on the floor and we have litter ones, they used to try to crawl right on the stage. So that's one of the problems we had. But here in Browning, it's been really nice. Children really behaved good at the show. They never how to get up on the stage, but that was one of the problems. So our next dance is what's called the owl dance, where the man and lady dance. In the old days, the ladies, they go ask the man to dance. The old chiefs, they were too lazy to get up and ask the lady to dance. But in modern times, the man, he goes and asks the lady to dance. So Mrs. Crawford handled these two men. And there's quite a bit of weight on them. She takes them across the stage a couple, 3 times, and that's it, because she's handling them home. And there's a lot of weight to it. So next one will be the owl dance. That's what it's called the Alabama, once you know what it is. But I can say these marionettes are pretty big. One thing I forgot to tell you about, a lot of people call them puppets. Puppets is one that you put your hand on a glove or something, has a face on it. These are marionettes. They work by strings. And that's where we have a lot of mistakes. People call them puppets, but they're not. They're marionettes. But we want to give you a little history on the stage. When we first started out, telling people we were going to start a show, and all this was donated to us. We had Albert Wilson, he built the stage for us, and the painting back here was done by Webb Petty. And when they got through, we asked them, well, what do we owe you? They said, nothing. And that's why I always say, that's where your friendship comes in. You got friends, try to keep them. And they just have money in the bank. You or you call on them. That's something that really a person should always remember. But that's what this was. When we figured it out, if we'd have to pay for it, it cost us a little over $1,000. These are professional men, and they don't do anything cheap. But they donated this thing for us so we could get a start. And that's the way we got the stage built. So like I say, we're going to have a bigger stage built and more acts coming in on the show. We have one show that lasts an hour, and we can't show it to smaller children because it's tired. We've already run it once, and it just lasts exactly an hour. It's a story. So we're planning on using that in the colleges. But that's not long there, so it's tired. And you have smaller children, they can't sit too long. They're getting rested. So Mr. Crawford will give us the history on how she made the clothes to these marionettes.
This marionette I made when I was in school, about 150 years ago. And she's kind of my pet. And she's an old lady. Years ago, the older ladies dressed this way. The dress on the outside had a shorter sleeve than the dress on the inside. And the elderly ladies were kind of plain. And I always say I think maybe they spent all their time beating and making clothes for tanning hides and making clothes for the rest of the family. So that's why they didn't have much time for themselves. Now, you'll notice the old lady doesn't have any beads on her moccasins, and she's just plain. It's got to be the belts on the necklace. The older ladies didn't wear a headband and feather and all that. And these marionettes are all, I tried to dress them all authentic Blackfeet, just as authentic as I could. At times it was kind of hard, they're so small, but even down to the Blackfeet have this little thing on the back of their moccasins. And they said if you had that, you wouldn't get lost. And these marionettes all have that on their moccasins. I tried to get them dressed as just as authentic Blackfeet as I could. This old man, I took a pattern from my husband's buckskin suit. And nowadays, the Indians are modern. They sew their buckskin suits up on the sewing machine. But years ago, they laced them like this. They didn't sew. And even the red material around the neck is laced down with the buckskin string. It isn't sewed on. And fancy dancers, I took a lot of pictures during Indian days, and I dressed them according to the Blackfeet boys that were dressed fancy dance. And of course, the young lady, she's dressed just typical young lady, carrying a shawl and all her beads. And these marionettes are all wood, every part of them. And they all have human hair. This one I bought when I was making this marionette. But the rest of them, I was the barber at the boarding school on the girls' side. So when the girls with long, thick hair had asked me to thin their hair, I saved it, and they all laughed at me. Wondered what I was going to do with it. But I showed them after I had them finished. I tried to straighten their hair, fixed that hair for the other marionettes. And most of the marionettes, well, she doesn't, the only joint she don't bend is her wrist. But the rest of them all have joints wherever a person, they move. And they're all wood. And I wish somebody people that makes a marionette so you can find out how hard it is. Maybe I get the hand, the fingers all done, and I get to the thumb and just think one little place, and then I break the thumb off, and then I start a hand all over again. But I enjoyed it, and I'm enjoying giving these shows too. Is there any questions that you would like to ask about this?
How many marionettes do you have altogether?
I just have fun.
Any more questions? Well, this one is here. Little experience we have in Kansas. You know, the younger people, the older people were very superstitious. So we'd have to put on a show down there. They had a big power going, and there was thousands of people there. So they had a building for us. We set up our stage and everything, and they had a big office coming there with TV. I haven't seen that show yet, but it was supposed to have been a nationwide show. We were in it. But at the time, we didn't know this thing was coming off. But we waited for the people to come. And hardly anybody come. A few people from town, but they were white people. So after, we run the show anyway. They had the TV going, cameras. So after the show was over, I asked a friend of ours, I said, "This is the deal here. How come that we didn't go to the show like this?" So they said they're superstitious, and they said if these marionettes look too much like human beings. And that was one of the reasons why they didn't come to our show. So we were disappointed and they went that far. But that was one of the problems we had there. They were all superstitious, and they said that these marionettes look too much like humans. So that's a big idea, and then we go back to Kansas to want to show. So they're superstitious about these. So our next number, we have this old man and this old lady dancing.
Oh.
The old people in the buckskin costumes, they didn't dance fast. They called it, they had a straight dance, more like a walk, but they didn't do no fancy steps. So that's what we'll have. And this old man gets kind of tired of going out and he sits down. That old lady, if you really have to do something. So that was our next number.
You should have told me.
Oh,
marionette, the one that I work most is the one that's the red fancy dance. There's a difference in the weight. So I have kind of a little problem with this marionette because he's light. But the other one, I know how to work him and I don't have any problem. But on the bottom of the moccasins, we have weights in it. That could keep the feet down. So our next number will be a fancy dance. We have a young lady, young fancy dancer. She is dancing a fast dance. Thank you very much. We have our last number of the fast fancy dancers, two young fancy dancers and dancers, and that'll be our final number. If you have any questions to ask, we've got to answer. show. After the little ones leave, I will give you men and women a chance to work the marionette. We usually let the upper class, when they're putting on their shows at school from junior high on up, we usually give them a chance to work with them. So we enjoy your audience and hope you like the show.
Thank you.